I'm Aaron Rodriguez. I'll be talking to you today about the 2025 Canadian Peace Dollar. Folks, Susan Taylor has been able to bring a beautiful rendition of peace one level higher. For those who are not familiar with the series, she has taken inspiration from her two daughters to bring this beautiful rendition of peace. And now we get to see the full picture. We had the unbelievable opportunity to actually sit down with Susan Taylor. The amount of detail that we go into, the amount of history and conviction that she has bringing these beautiful works of art to life is unbelievable. So get ready for one of the coolest interviews you've ever seen.
Hello, Aaron. I'm so thrilled to be here today and to talk about the work that I do. I'm very inspired to create, to work in relief, and to sculpt. It's always been my passion, and I was very fortunate to work as the senior engraver at the Royal Canadian Mint, and since retiring I've been fortunate enough to continue in my passion in engraving and sculpting coin and metal.
What got you started in art?
I remember when I was a 4-year-old and my parents had a white picket fence out front, and it rained the night before, and I went out and I said, there's got to be something more to this fence than what it is. And so I finger painted it with mud all over the fence. I thought it was really amazing from a 4-year-old perspective.
Obviously.
Yes. And then fast forward, in grade 13, or grade 12 rather, my art teacher was the Miss McElroy. She was so passionate about art and so passionate about teaching art to her students that it really inspired me to continue on and become an artist myself.
Seeing you got into art, how did that evolve into coin design?
I always liked working with my hands. I always liked the tactile feel of working with clay or with plaster, and the whole process of creating mold and the lost wax process. So this is what I studied when I was at McMaster University. Then, as I worked one summer at the Royal Canadian Mint, I found out about the apprenticeship program for engravers. And I said to myself, well, this is my next step, because this is where I could learn to sculpt in relief and to learn the art of engraving coins and metal, the engraving process.
What would you say is your favorite design or challenge?
I would say I was very, very proud of the piece, the first of the piece series. I liked it because I just retired as the senior engraver, and then I was commissioned to do this piece, and I said to myself, wow, I think I made the right career path in life, because I had this opportunity to create this design.
When you had your daughter model for you, it's just so, when you first got the task or the opportunity to design, was she your first thought to bring in as your model?
Actually, I based it on 2 daughters, because I have 2 daughters. Okay. Yeah, and they were my muses, because I'm so proud of them. They're very courageous. They're very thoughtful, and they have remarkable careers and are successful at what they do. And yet they have very strong core values, and I find it inspirational.
Your daughters obviously got to see this, and they got, how did they react when you told them that I'm basing a coin series on you?
Oh, I think they were very, very proud, and they would say, Mom, do you really think we look that good? Absolutely, you're beautiful. But yes, I think they were very pleased that their mother would honor them in this way.
Yeah. Did you know that you were going to do the full body next?
The request actually was, if you were to create something for a second series, how would you do it? And my response was that it would be nice to have some continuity.
Okay.
So the portrait of the full-bodied piece is the same portrait that is from the first of the series. And then it was a matter of adding the full body with the robes and everything, and then the wreath of peace. But the portrait, if you look at it closely, is exactly the same.
How did you come to decide to do the clouds in that fashion?
Well, Actually, it's interesting how this design has evolved. Because initially it was Lady Peace walking forward with a wreath on the bed of maple leaves from sea to sea. And she had the wreath in one hand and held a torch aloft with her other. And so she was representing both allegorical figures atop of the Canadian National War Memorial, and that's peace and freedom. It was decided to focus just on the peace and leave the torch out, and then we put her hand down. Then going from there, engineering asked if there was a way of adding design elements in the background. And so it is always very helpful to have a gradual movement of height from the center out to the field. So then it was decided to add clouds. And then I realized that, if she's walking, she could have storm clouds behind, and then she's walking towards peace, as well as walking from sea to sea.
That sun is so ornamental compared to kind of a traditional. Is there a purpose for that, or what inspired you there?
Yeah. Well, when I initially had the sun and the rays, it was very typical in that the rays extended beyond. And it was decided that because there are many international coins that use the sun with the rays on their coin, how could we differentiate this from others? And so I thought, why not? Let's just make this Canadian.
What inspired you to do the shoreline? What is it? Talk about that.
Yes, well, the national motto of Canada is Amare Usk ad Mare, and that means from sea to sea. And so I wanted Lady Peace walking astride the maple leaf, which was inspired by the Birth of Venus painting by Sandro Botticelli.
Yes.
And I thought, if he could have an oversized clam with the Birth of Venus for Venus, we could have oversized maple leaf representing Canada, and then Peace is striding or floating from sea to sea.
Imagining a third release of your Peace series. What are some elements that you would want to add or take away even?
Right, all right. Well, perhaps, continuity is always helpful, and there are always some design elements that you could bring forward and some that you could leave behind. And I'm thinking that since we could do with perhaps bringing, rather than a side profile, a forward-facing profile, forward into the future.
What surprised you the most with this design?
What actually surprised me the most was the sun, actually. Realizing, when I was told you need to do something to make this more Canadian, and I thought to myself, and what am I going to do? And I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. And it was a surprising addition to the design process. But in the end, adding the clouds and having the storm clouds behind her and the sun breaking through the clouds in front, I thought was very interesting, It created a story.
I had so much fun talking with Susan Taylor, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Whether you have an opportunity to get this or not, call in. There's more to the story than you see here. There's more to the story than you hear here, and I want to make sure that you're a part of it. So give us a call. We're ready and excited to connect with you. I'm Aaron Rodriguez. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.